Good morning. I'm going to do a tarot reading today for Joseph Biden, and I thought I'd show you I did this painting, this abstract regarding the election, what's going on, and I thought it was really funny. So I'm just looking at them now, just looking at the mess. It's pretty messy, huh? Pretty messy painting. Anyway, check this out. Do you see this pig? Eyes, ears, flappy ear. There's his nose. And if you go down, you can even kind of like see like his hoofs. See him? Pink. Do we have any little piggly wigglies in politics? Anyway, I just thought it was funny. This is one of the first things I've noticed. So, okay, here's the tarot reading. I already shuffled. Don't want to have to go through all that. So I'm holding my stick. Sorry if it's wobbly. So I already shuffled. I shuffled as well as I could. I focused on Joseph Biden. So this is kind of like a personal spread. What's going on today? Today is supposedly inauguration day. I do know what's on the bottom of the deck, what was showing, and that's the Wheel of Fortune. And it says, represents the ever-changing cycles of life, both good and bad. Your luck is turning, and a new phase of life is beginning. Period of personal growth and extreme change. Success after failure. Destiny and fate will allow you very little control over coming events. All you can do is go with the flow. Promise of a better future. Okay, so that's good for the reading. For him, I suppose. So here is the first card, which would represent him. Page of Swords. So, someone, a daredevil, maybe? I don't know if we look at the card. Okay, so is that a ship up there blowing up? A ship? Kind of interesting. Okay, so what crosses him? This. Five of Wands, caution. You may have to resort to underhanded methods to get a project pushed through. Oh, did they do that? Competition, greed, and lust for power, obstacles, secret opposition to your plans, a rival challenges your authority. There is no way to do this. There's no easy way to do this. Arguments will be part of every day. A frustrating and difficult time ahead. Hassles, bad luck, and nuisances. Okay, so there we have that. I don't have my little cheat card. Do I have to start this all over again? No, I don't. Yay. I found my cheat card. So the cheat card is that number 2 is in the position of current influences. But, that's kind of not as hopeful as I thought. He's only going to have nuisances? I want more than nuisances. Okay, so I want justice. Number 3. Mr. Biden's... oh, by the way, here's my Amazon return. You do it too if you can. Can't believe they can just shut down people on a whim. So number 3, goal or destiny. Okay, so he has a goal. Okay. And it's the Queen of Swords. Natural leadership abilities. I don't know, what is the goal? Do you think the goal of having Harris as VP was to have her really be the vice president, because there's not much to that guy. I mean, he's an empty shell. He's on his, I wouldn't say his last leg, he's on his last breath practically. That's how his health appears to me. So that is the goal or destiny card. And the fourth one is influence of the distant past, which is the Ace of Swords. And let's see, I don't know what those yellow things are. Lemons, they look like lemons. Okay, Ace of Swords. An excellent time for work and intellectual projects. A breakthrough is possible. Your life's mission or career direction will become clear. The ability to persevere will be crucial during this period. Discussions should be guided by what is just, true, and honorable. Think of problems as opportunities for change. Okay, and then number 5 is the recent past events. And that is the King of Pentacles. Indicates a man over 40. Commiserate, deal maker, and risk taker. Smooth talker, sophisticated and successful. Devoted to civic, religious, or philanthropic activities. Affectionate, hardworking. Chases the trappings of success, including expensive cars, a nice home, toys, and nice clothing. So that says influence of distant past. I wonder who that could be. Number 6 is future influences. It's the Fool. Oh. Okay. You are unpredictable, open, spontaneous, adventurous, a free spirit, and a dreamer. You are free of responsibility by choice and do not like restrictions. You have the soul of an entrepreneur, signifies the start of a new phase in life. Trust in your own ideas and plans no matter what others might say. Okay. I mean, even if it's illegal. So 7, present attitude. Present attitude is 7 of Cups. Indicates a need for structure and discipline to your life. In your life, you are not seeing things clearly. Clouded judgment. You may be misinterpreting reality. Maybe. Wishing for something doesn't make it happen. Risky ventures will fail. There are many more options open than you recognize. Possible religious, psychic, or unexplainable event. That's interesting, and that's the present attitude. Yeah, it's like prayers. 8 is environmental influences. This is the Ace of Pentacles. Good time for diet and exercise, physical self-improvement, and beauty. Money and natural possessions come easily. Success. Projects will grow and prosper. Trust in your own instincts and ideas. Others will help. Rely on your friends and family for support. Well, I think you would have to. So environmental influences. I'm sure there's many people with money. Yeah, we've just seen that with the big tech giving money for inauguration day. That's not. They're not going to have the party because he's afraid. Come on. If so many people voted for you and you were that popular, why would you be that afraid? That's very doesn't make any sense. Does not make any sense. Nobody was this afraid of, Antifa and Black Lives Matter. Nobody. I mean, I wouldn't go down where they were protesting, for God's sake. But I never had any fear because I felt like the government could shut them down at any time. Those mobs were allowed to cause chaos and hurt other people and to hurt businesses. They were allowed to do that. So I wasn't afraid. So neither should anybody be afraid of what happened at the Capitol. I'm sorry. It's not quite like you would think happened. So one innocent person died. Everybody else there's death was, they call it a medical emergency. So they died of like a heart attack or something of that nature, not due to any kind of violence inflicted upon them. So one person is dead. So they say. I haven't seen a birth certificate. I haven't seen any really reporting relating to people where her funeral was and all that. I have no idea. So without that information, that's why they used to have public hanging. Just a little side note for my reading. In public hearings and public hangings, you got to see that the criminal was actually dead. You could go to your town square, get justice, and yep, they're gone. They're never coming back. Can you imagine if they just told you? So you'd have some corrupt people in power and they could just tell you, yeah, they're dead. Why they just go right away in the sunset and go commit more crimes for said parties. So we really have to, it's not any kind of conspiracy theory. This is how people take power and abuse power by not showing us facts when they can, no transparency when they can have it, and then deny any questioning of their supposed said authority. And that's why we have the Constitution, because no matter what they say, you still have these inalienable rights. And that's a whole other thing. I, for one, wasn't taught much about the Constitution, and you've been through some crash courses. But actually what it seems to me has happened is they've clouded it and muddied the waters of the Constitution and the legal strength of the Constitution with administrative law taking over common law, the UCC and all that stuff. Basically, we really have no justice system for everyday people. It's a commercial enterprise for dead entities, corporations. That's it. That's who gets the justice. And then it's amongst themselves. It's almost like with the banks and other corporates and the settlements. It never goes to the people who are harmed. It's just like money exchanging hands amongst themselves. So that's very, very disheartening to see that it could be so much better and should be so much better. So, and what to do going forward. I think I heard somebody say, I don't know exactly who it was, but they made the point of being as local as you can get, starting where you're at, and knowing what's going on, running for positions that are open. So those things are really important, and I might consider, going forward and doing some of that. I'm rather old. I don't think I should be, out of the running for that. Physically, I'm not, like I used to be, but mentally, I'm still there. I'm not quite Biden's age. I still got like at least a good 15, 20 years in me. Anyway, let's go back to this reading. But, we must, know that we have to press on in positive ways. The most positive we can in the circumstances. I know it's tough and heartbreaking. It's really hard to wake up. I mean, it was hard for me to sleep. Just that stomach wrenching that you have, that that this isn't right, and you can kind of see, the writing on the wall, like what could this mean? And you go forward in your mind with all these different scenarios. What does this mean? Because when they wouldn't listen to the poll workers and everybody else that talked about unconstitutional changes that were made to processes within weeks of the election. So those are some of the things that came up, and some of the irregularities that are statistically impossible. More votes than voters. Mail-in ballots not having a fold in them. Not having the right watermark. There's just so many things that were never addressed. Never. Even the hearing that was supposed to allow those to come forward was co-opted by parties who did not want to go forward with investigation, a real investigation. So all that Capitol stuff was to deflect from the real issues, which are election integrity. If we don't have election integrity, we have no elected representative. And I don't think, maybe we haven't for a long time. They don't want us to know that, because if we, the people, actually looked into Dominion software and the software in these counting machines, maybe we wouldn't want them. Maybe we shouldn't have them. Anyway, so if we don't have that, then, I started thinking, well, what could then happen next? Well, if these tech companies are allowed these things to happen and you can be shut down and just, like say to shut up, I mean, thou protest is too much. When they have to shut down people for telling what they believe, there's a problem. That's how communists work. They cannot stand on an open platform and transparency. They cannot. So anybody who thinks this is a good thing and people like me are a danger, grandma, a danger to your society, they are wrong. And I pray that people's eyes are open to the fact that these people care about this country. If not, that there wouldn't be a building standing there, and those people in that building would be dead. Not just one innocent woman from a police gun or guard gun, whoever they are in there, I'm not sure. But we know there wasn't enough of them. They should have had the National Guard out there, but they said no. They could have protected the premises, which they would have at any, I don't know if there's been any march like this. How many people did they have there for the, did they have a 1 million man march? Farrakhan had a march there. I know Glenn Beck had a lot of people there at one time, 9/13. I'm sure 9/12. 2 days. So there's been quite a few marches there, and they know how to protect the building. And I thought about it too, and I thought to myself, what would I have done? Well, now the first they say when that violence took over, when we see those people getting shoved that was like a movie show. All the Trump supporters were watching, and the worshipers, I guess, some of them, were watching President Trump's speech. So they couldn't have been there. So there's a time delay and a time problem they have. So there weren't millions of them, but you can show in a video seeing the whole crowd up there. But that wasn't the case. When you see the police officers he's crying. It looks so freaking fake. Go watch it. He's in like being pushed in between two doors. Like he could push himself out of the harm's way. And he's like, oh. It's like, oh my gosh. I want to know who these people are. Not just I do also want to know who the people are who were the first people in there breaking the windows. There should be security cameras of these people, close-ups of these people, and of the police. The police need to be part of a thorough investigation. Not just, okay, this is the worst day in American history, shut up and not get to the brass tacks of who it was that broke the window, because it appeared that the cops just let the regular Trump supporters in and were not afraid. They had conversations, even the man with the horns talking to the police saying, yeah, we want to keep this secure and take care of this guy. He's been shot. There's a guy that said he's been shot. He was just sitting there. There are quite a few videos that you can go and review yourself. Don't, like the video of the Secretary of State of Georgia, do not just listen to that, because the videotape of that conversation, it's in context. You have to take it in context. So, and that Raffensperger, you can go watch the video too, local news. He said there was a pipe burst in State Farm Arena. He knew he was lying. And he talked about the big puddle that's going to get cleaned up in the morning. It's all dry now. And he was amazed at how fast they did it. Sure, because it didn't happen. So with all these connect the dots stuff, you can see clear evidence of erection fraud. I can't say the other word. I can say erection. And then just typing things into YouTube, you would comments. They'd cross out my words. I'm like, okay, so grandma is such a danger that you have to edit me. And these, you know, companies are just promoted and pushed up by, by corporate America. And if you like, the stock market and the syndicate, it might have been good at one time, but I see nothing but problems with it, especially when it is about our health. We are like, health has been targeted, healthcare has been targeted with pharmaceuticals and all these other things and money-making schemes. Vaccines are, political systems have been weaponized with the, false, fake, trumped up impeachment stuff. So these things are just in our faces. And I don't want to get preachy, but I love truth. And I love any book with the truth in it. Comes from all sorts of religions, but the one I'm acculturated to is Christianity. That's the religion I've been acculturated with, and yes, we're all brainwashed, but I have been through it, thinking it through, and I have accepted Jesus Christ into my heart, Holy Spirit. So you don't really need a name. You accepted truth. You're going to say, yeah, I can see my wickedness. I can see things around me. I can see pain. I can see suffering. And I don't know what to do about it. And I feel helpless and hopeless. Help me. Spirit of truth, help me. I need you. So with that, I love the part where Jesus, I'm not going to scripture and verse, but I could, okay? We could go back and get the scripture and verse. I think, don't quote me, I think it's like in Matthew, a lot of Jesus red word stuff in there, where he says at the end times, people come to him and say, when he rejects them, it's judgment. And they say, Jesus, didn't we clothe people in your name? Didn't we feed people in your name? It could be Mother Teresa in there saying, didn't I do all these things? Look I sacrificed my whole life for you. Didn't we prophesy in your name? And that was one of the things when I realized, like, well, back up. He's talking to church people here. He's talking to all these people sitting around me and me about he never knew us. I was like, okay, that's just weird. And then he said, depart from me. I never knew you. And this is in the same area as where Jesus says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. Nobody gets his Father except through me. The truth. He doesn't say, I'm Jesus and you have to do all these things and spin around and get sprinkled and all that. He says, I am the truth. So when he comes to you, he says, depart from me. I never knew you. Truth never knew you. You never knew truth. So truth is the thing. And we know in our heart whether that's what judges us. God could not judge us. We judge ourselves. We know. Our conscience knows. See, it's like a amazing creation system on 3D, 4D or whatever chess. Because we have something in our hearts that we know what's the truth. And that's what we're going to be judged on. Even though we may be deluded in a sense, or not know, we may be ignorant, but we do know the truth. And it's very our truth. Like some people might think eating Cheerios is very sinful. Well, that's not saying that that is sinful, but if they believe it to be so and they eat those Cheerios, then they feel like they are committing a sin and they need forgiveness for doing whatever they did. So their heart is in line. So it's kind of like the new sciences. It's the heart-mind coherence. So you're in, sync with Creator. So know the truth, because Jesus said too that, this is your burden to bear, the truth. Not Christianity. Religion is not your cross to bear. Being good is not your cross to bear. Your cross to bear is the truth. And we all know what happens to truth tellers, right? Martin Luther King Jr., I know some of them are violent, Malcolm X, but if they're telling the truth and they're putting it out there and people don't want to hear it, they will be destroyed. they will be destroyed. Jesus Christ. And I would even say, I guess he's still our president, Donald Trump has also been persecuted. And to me, go look at his accomplishment. He's been one of the best presidents. I did not vote for him the first time because it seemed like a farce to me, because, I told my friend on a walk when it was first brewing, I said, okay, so if it's not Bernie v. Trump, because I realized that's where the people's hearts were. One of them wanted Bernie, and the other side wanted Trump. So that should have been the race, and it was not so, because they wanted who they selected, not who you really wanted. And I think that goes all the way up. Every election's been like that. So we need to investigate these machines and stop those machines. And another thing, too, we all need to know about this is during this time, I've watched all the state legislatures' hearings. So I'm a legal assistant, so it's not all that bad. It's kind of, interesting to see what happened and to hear the different experts speak about things. So I watched all the state things, and I thought to myself, I didn't really realize, why would people double vote? And then I heard about how one of the things that they caught in the Dominion machines that we never got to hear in the Senate because of the chaos that was created, staged, and blown out of proportion, is that software was updated within days of the election, which is against all state constitutions. And this is a way that allows you to cheat. What it does is it takes, you have to wait. That's why they stopped counting. I've never seen that in, I don't know how many states. Was it all the swing states or just, I don't know how many. But Arizona took off 2 or 3 days. I'm like, oh my gosh, are you guys, really that slow? Anyway, so the coronavirus, I guess, gave them that excuse that they needed more time. But why you would need time is you need to figure out, the software has to go through the voter rolls. How many people voted, which people voted, and then there's going to be a remaining people who could have voted but didn't. And then they can steal your ballot and vote for you. This is a problem. That's why if you vote double, supposedly, it's going to spoil the ballot, so it would just be thrown out. So if you're registered to vote, spoil the ballot, still mail it in, but it will not be counted towards anybody. So it should be. However, there's testimony from affidavit from a poll watcher in Michigan who they just drove, they just kicked them all out at one point in time and taped up the window so nobody could see what was going on in their counting. Well, anyway, she testified that she went to one person and said, that's a double vote. She had a problem with this person wanting to call this ballot for Biden. And she says, no, it's spoiled. It's void. It's not a legal ballot. They called in a supervisor. The supervisor said, yeah, let's give it to Biden. That's not the argument, the poll watcher said. This needs to be thrown out. It's a double vote. And then they called in the head because they still wanted to count it for Biden. So they called in the head, supervisor of the whole building. And he said, yeah, I think it should be Biden. The woman says, I don't care what you think. It's what the law is. It matters what the law is on the matter. And that is not valid ballot. So can you imagine all the ballots? Kanye, I guess, they put those for Biden. We need to look at the ballots, not just recount fraudulent ballots, void ballots, but to count legitimate ballots. And they've made it now so if you cheat so bad, kind of like what the banks did, it's like you get away with it. It's like you can't sort out the truth. You can't sort out who lent any money, but you need that money from the homeowners with the mortgage scam. So anyway, yeah, the whole thing did not get looked at. But you can go, if you really want to know the truth, you can go see it. And that's what we're going to be judged on, is just being able to see it, because we can't even, meet any kind of goodness standard. I mean, we can try, but if you want to be judged by the law, yeah, good luck with that. So anyway, back to my reading. But just know that the truth can be discerned, but just and just don't go to, your religious leaders or your community leaders, like, the news, mainstream news, because there's more out there. And you have to, it's first you don't trust them. That's what I came to. It's like, okay, they're taking stuff out of context, clipping stuff, even Fox News. I stopped watching Fox News even because it's just, it's like, okay, I kind of like libertarianism and Ron Paul's platform, and they just didn't report the facts about his candidacy. So some people say he was a spoiler, and that may be so, but things got to change. I just want like I don't know if everybody can agree on this. It seems like America first. I don't care about, I care about the environment to an extent, but like with our pipeline and being energy independent, we need that. We're going to buy it from somebody else. But what they don't like is there's no middleman. There's no negotiation for this foreign oil that they want. See, they want to make these deals and have pork and, political points and political power with these other countries. And I want to just keep our strength here. And if we can be energy independent, let's do that. That's America first. We'll have jobs, bring manufacturing here. It is a national security issue, people. You could see, like, if China right now said, tomorrow, we're not going to deliver anything, we wouldn't have anything. We wouldn't have goods and services. We might have food, but we have to get the trucks and we have to get, have all that stuff functioning. And it would slowly break down. I don't think people realize that, because that's what I was worried about last night, is that if things slowly break down, then what? Because what would happen is, like, right now, everything's good. Because you have things in your grocery store, Amazon will deliver your things, all those stores will deliver your things. But you don't have those things if manufacturing stops or China decides we're their enemy and doesn't want to deliver things, and World War III breaks out. I mean, it's already here with this data stuff and the election stuff. It's here, it's on, like Donkey Kong. I used to love Duck Dynasty. I mean, I probably still would. It's just I don't, watch much network television anymore. So anyway, I just urge anybody that can hear my voice to do that for themselves. Whatever they hear, go to another search engine. I use DuckDuckGo with a Brave browser, try to do some kind of privacy for myself. But do that, and whatever they're talking about, like the tape, the conversation that Trump had with Rastenberger, go look up. You can watch the full tape and see, hear it. Don't hide from it because they said, oh, it says this. No, go find out for yourself. You have that obligation to yourself, and to the spirit of truth, and to your fellow